Hey, what's going on? Sambone Podcast, episode 2. It's been a hot minute. I got the candle lit to put me in my zone. I've been pretty busy. That's why I haven't really... Actually, you know what? I just haven't been feeling it. That's honestly the reason I haven't put out another episode. But I'm doing it now. I'm inspired. I was watching the No Jumper podcast and I got inspired. My buddies and I last weekend went up to the Kendrick Lamar concert in Tacoma. That was pretty sweet. That was a very, very lit concert. Tons of people there. I think there was like 20,000 or so people there. Dram opened, did a fantastic job. Travis did a fantastic job. Pretty high energy. He was standing on top of that one bird. I know it has a name, but I forgot the name of that bird. It was pretty lit. And then, of course, Kendrick was fantastic live. The overall vibe was definitely pretty intense. But yeah, I mean, that's a dope trip. I love concerts. Went to the Future concert in June. That was pretty sweet. Can't really compare the two concerts. I mean, they were both pretty sweet, but, Future just has a completely different vibe from Kendrick. They're both pretty good artists, but, obviously Future is all about the Dirty Sprite, and everybody just kind of goes wild, while at a Kendrick concert, it's definitely more, lyrical, definitely more iconic, definitely more of a historical concert where you actually sort of want to pay attention more to the performance instead of just going crazy all the time. Which, of course, I probably overdid it a little bit, going a little too crazy, but whatever. That's just me. But yeah, overall, the concert was just pretty sweet. Definitely would want to go to another Kendrick concert. I don't think he goes on tour that often, but when he does, I'm going to it. Another thing that I recently did was I watched the Jon Jones DC fight. I don't really watch a whole lot of UFC or don't really know a lot about it, but all I can say is I know probably a ton of people have rehashed this already, but that head kick that Jon Jones did to DC was absolutely insane. My head hurt after watching that. I could not imagine taking that hard of a kick straight to the dome. And, of course, Joe Rogan was commentating. He did that whole thing of, apologizing about the interview, which, I respect him for doing. I don't know, DC didn't really say anything, that was too intense or anything, but, Joe definitely feels like you shouldn't interview fighters after they get knocked out, which I completely agree with, because how are you expected to say something that's even somewhat intelligent, or because that person who just got knocked out isn't even coherent yet. A lot of times they don't even know where they're at. So it's like, what's the point of interviewing a person who just got knocked out? When DC got up, he thought he was like, why did the fight stop? And it's like no shit, the fight stopped. He got head kicked. Jon Jones jumped up in the air, kicked him in the stomach. DC fell over, and Jon Jones punched him in the head like 15 times. And that was just the most brutal thing I've ever witnessed. And then, a lot of people were saying the ref should have stopped it earlier, which, I guess I sort of agree with, but I don't know, the ref was probably was trying to confirm if it was a knockout or not, which, obviously DC got completely annihilated. Towards the end there, it was a pretty close fight the entire time, but after that head kick, absolutely ridiculous. Sort of another thing I want to talk about, I might edit this part out if I just feel like this is just a no reason of a rant, but I watched this video yesterday by the famous psychology professor Jordan Peterson yesterday, and he basically was just talking about how, a lot of the time, when you graduate high school, a lot of parents always say, Hey, you got time. You got time to figure it out. And they sort of baby it, and they just always give the kid, hey, you got time to figure it out. Like, take your time with it. You'll figure it out. You'll figure out what you want to do in life. And a lot of the time, especially if you don't necessarily push the kid into actually wanting to do something, a large percentage of kids really never figure that thing out. And even then, if you don't figure something out, at least, get something going that could potentially further, your success later on. Even if it's not something you want to do, try to gain a skill or get an education in something where you actually put effort and try. Even if it's something that you don't initially want to do, it's better to have a skill that you don't necessarily want to do for the rest of your life than not doing anything at all, or working a dead end job where you make $1 above minimum wage for the rest of your life. And in the video, he was just talking about how a lot of people, spend 10, 20, 30 years figuring it out, and they're 45 now, and they're working a dead end job. And, it just now hit them that they just spent 25 years trying to figure it out when they never actually put any effort into figuring it out. Now they're basically screwed because you're 45 working a dead end job with 3 kids, and you want to go try to figure it out now. Well, guess what? I guess you got time, but good luck with that. Good luck trying to, figure it out and do what you want to do, because, so many people just, I work at a grocery store, and, a lot of people are like that, man. A lot of people are like that. All fantastic people, all great people. They just spent a little too long trying to figure it out. And towards the end of the video, and the video is called, it's just Jordan Peterson Man-Child story, something like that. It's like a 6 to 7 minute video. It's nothing big. But, and then towards the end of the video, he was kind of talking about how, a lot of people, and honestly, sort of including, I try in school. I'm at a community college right now, and I try in school. It's like, I show up there with a goal every day to do well. But, a lot of people who go to college don't necessarily, they go because, and this has been rehashed, but a lot of teenagers go to college just because that's sort of what society tells them to do. But they just sort of go there for like almost a fake identity and to not actually trying anything. They just show up. Okay, now I can tell my parents, or now I can tell my family at Christmas time that I'm going to college, so I don't have to have this persona about me that I don't really care about what I'm doing, even though every time you show up to class, you go on Snapchat and Instagram the entire time, and you don't take a single note, and you end up just getting straight C's or C, or even C minuses, D's the entire time. And it's you never actually applied yourself. You don't show up to class with a goal, and then next thing you know, you go to a out of state D1 university and you're $40,000 in debt every year. Do that 3 years, you're $120,000 in debt. You didn't really have a plan, so you drop out your senior year, which I know people who have done that. And now, so you got $120,000 debt over your head that you never really applied yourself at. It was more of just a safe haven for you to go to act, to tell society, and to almost fake like you're actually doing something. When you go to college, you need to actually have a plan. You don't have to figure out what you want to do yet. Tons of people switch majors. Tons of people decide they want to do something different, but you got to apply yourself and at least figure that out. Because universities and professors, a lot of the time, do not care about what you want to do or about what you want to be when you grow up. It's all about you applying yourself and figuring it out. And I just really, really love that video because Jordan Peterson obviously has been talking into the mic. He's been teaching forever. He's been doing personal blogs. He's written tons of research papers. So he knows how to articulate his words very, very, very well that I can't do, my friends can't do, my parents can't do. Very, very few people can actually articulate their words in the fashion that he did in that video. And I highly recommend that everybody goes to watch that, because if you really try to apply that into your life, I feel like it'll be definitely beneficial. Man, this we got like a lunar eclipse coming up here, and apparently there's going to be there's so many people, I think, that are going to be coming down into the Oregon area to like rent a hotel, set up camp for this lunar eclipse. And the traffic, when that drawbridge goes up, the traffic is already terrible, but I can't imagine how bad it's going to be for the next 3 days when that lunar eclipse happens. I'm not sure. I think it's coming up here like in a month or so. But that'd be dope to get a couple pictures of it. My friend just bought a DSLR camera kit from Amazon, and I think I might be more excited about that than he is, honestly. I was like, that'd be pretty sweet to do like some photo shoots. I've really, really wanted a DSLR camera. They're kind of expensive, so I haven't pulled the trigger on it, because I pulled the trigger and bought this mic. And I'm just saving up money for other stuff right now. But that'd be dope if we got a picture of that. Did a photo shoot. I'm in the Portland area, so that'd be pretty cool to go down into Portland, take some photography. I live like in the more of the country area, so there's a lot of cool landscape around here to do like self-portraits or just regular photo shoots and just regular pictures of stuff. That'd be pretty badass to do. He wants to get into like a lot of video and photography shit, so that's pretty badass. I definitely need to eventually. I will get one. Maybe my tax return. That's what I'll do in February. Because I usually get my tax return February, March. I get it a little early. So maybe I might pull the trigger and buy a camera then. What's another topic to talk about? Yesterday, I woke up, I had an 8-page research paper due, and I was like 3 pages in, so I had about 5 pages to write that day. Wasn't too bad. I finished it at about 10:45 at night. But yeah, I just woke up, started writing, took a break, washed my car, kind of detailed it a little bit, got back inside, kept writing again. And then when I was just putting a ton of focus into it, and I was just staring at my laptop for like 3 hours, so I was really starting to get a headache. And I didn't really have anything to do, so I didn't really want to drive anywhere. I didn't have any video games I wanted to play. I didn't really have any videos I was wanting to watch. And I still needed to get a run in that day, so I just decided to get a run in. It was about 5 o'clock, like 4:45, so it was like pretty much the hottest part of the day. It was about 90 degrees where I was at, and so yeah, I was just like, you know what, screw it, I'll just go out there and do a run right now, get it over with. I don't care if it's hot. I've sort of adapted to the heat, not entirely, because the last 2 miles I was definitely feeling the heat. It was coming on. My whole body was just, my internal temperature was probably pretty damn high. But yeah, I got 9 miles in. Came back, immediately felt better. My brain was cleared up. I lost like 5 pounds in water weight. The sweat was just unbelievable. I was soaked I was wearing a hat to block out the sun, and my hat was just I could have dumped it in a bucket of water and put it on, and there wouldn't have been a difference. That's just always, I just highly encourage people to, even if it's 2 miles, just go out there and get your sweat on, because when all that sweat just comes out of you, all those toxins, that cheeseburger you ate, all that poison that you put in your body is just coming out, and you're clearing yourself, and you're detoxicating yourself from those chemicals, and it's good stuff right there. Even 2 miles, even a mile, just go out there, 90-degree heat, and just go out there and kill yourself for 10 minutes and come back, and you'll feel fantastic. I've been on that cold shower game pretty heavy. I've adapted pretty well to it. I've been doing it for about 2 weeks now. I'll just wake up, hop in the cold shower for 5 minutes, and I feel way better, honestly, because your breathing elevates, so you're getting a lot more oxygen to your brain, which wakes you up and it makes you feel better. So between getting those runs in, sweating a bunch, taking some cold showers, I've been feeling pretty fantastic. A couple days ago, I took a cold shower. I got off work, just immediately got home, hopped in the cold shower, and then I just went to bed, and I just slept like a baby, and it felt awesome. So I highly recommend cold showers. It builds up your strength, man. I'm more resistant to the cold now, building that body up. So that's pretty sweet. So I'm sort of a nerdy idea, I guess, and probably nobody would freaking care, because unfortunately not a whole lot of people read books anymore. But an idea that I was thinking about would be, I think it'd be pretty badass if, I read a book and one of my friends read a book, and then after we're done reading it, we hop on this podcast here and review the book and analyze the book and how we liked it and what was the deeper meaning or what was the theme behind it. Because I freaking loved that. That was my favorite part of English class, is reading a book and then sitting in a group discussion and just hearing everybody's opinion about the book. That was my favorite part about English class, because I love reading a book that has a deeper meaning, and then everybody sort of interprets it in a different way. And man, because right now I gotta finish the book, but I'm reading this book called Crime and Punishment. It's a Russian psychology novel that basically just talks about how this guy is always struggling with his inner personal thoughts, and he sort of just goes through this mental process of trying to think about how he's poor. There's this really, really rich woman who owns like all this jewelry, millionaire, tons of money, and she doesn't donate any of it, and she's a complete asshole to everybody she talks to, and she'll never give any away, and all she does is take, but never gives out. And the main character almost is trying to rationalize and justify murder to steal the money away from her and to give it out to the public and to use the money to benefit the world. And it's a really long book. I think it's like 25 hours of audio. I'm about 5 hours in. I should listen to about another hour of that after this podcast. But that would be pretty sweet. And it's kind of funny because that book is actually a recommendation that Jordan Peterson has on his website. He has a list of about 20 books that you should all read. And so I'm kind of going through those. I've already read a couple of them. Crime and Punishment is so far a really, really good book. It's a Russian novel written in, I think, like the 1700s or the 1800s. So it's pretty old. The author was actually put into prison because of the book and because of his personal beliefs and stuff. But yeah, ranting on here. I'm actually about 19 minutes and 50 seconds in here, so I'm just ranting. every time I do these podcasts, I'm just trying to become a better writer, become a better voice. I'm trying to become just as good as I possibly can with this stuff. I'm trying to build up my craft with this thing here. Anytime I have some free time, or if I just wake up in the morning, try to crank out a podcast. I solo these. So my first episode and this episode are all solo. So I don't really have anybody to bounce off of. So it's just this is all coming straight from the dome here. I don't even have notes. I don't have anything written down. This is all straight up thinking, and then I say what I'm thinking into the mic. I need to get one of my friends on. A lot of my friends are freaking nervous to be on. I don't know why. I think they're scared of talking into the mic and having it recorded. So, whatever. But they're a bunch of losers anyway. But I think that's going to wrap up this podcast here. Sambone Podcast, Episode 2. Thanks for tuning in.